Hey, this is Dr. Hillary Hushower from Rangeline Chiropractic. I wanted to do a live interview today with Jeff Canada. He owns Warbler Coffee. Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself and your coffee while I drink some of the coffee.
Well, thank you for having me, and I've got mine as well, always. All right. So just a quick background here. I am into birds and birding. That's one of my passions and one of my hobbies. And I was a 10-year board member for the Indiana Audubon Society, which is birds and bird conservation and education. I was the president for 3 years. During that time, I discovered a thing called bird-friendly coffee. And I just so happened to start roasting my own just a little while after I found out about the bird-friendly coffee. I was hooked on the roasting, and there's nothing like fresh roasted coffee. It's totally different than any coffee that you buy. But so during my time as president, I started kind of having in the back of my mind an idea of how to raise money with coffee and bird-friendly coffee. And last spring, I decided to reach out to some organizations to see about partnering with them to raise money. And if you go to my website, you'll see that I believe there's 15 partners now in
You do
less
have
than a
a lot.
year.
Yeah.
And so I roast bird-friendly certified coffee. It's certified by the Smithsonian Institute. There's only 23 roasters in the entire country that are certified to roast this coffee. And I feel very blessed to be able to combine my passions of birding and coffee and just being able to talk about both for my job. I roast coffee. That's what I do. I'm the only person here. I'm at my shop now,
In
but I do all
Noblesville,
the roasting.
correct?
Yes, I'm in
Yes.
Noblesville.
Yes.
I do not have a retail storefront. However, I'm very easily accessible, as you know.
I got
There's
my
several ways.
first bag
Yeah,
yesterday or two
and I
days ago.
roasted
Yeah.
it. I roasted it right before I brought it over there.
No
So,
wonder why it's so good.
yeah, if anybody knows what fresh coffee means, they'll know that's huge. But so yeah, I mean, it all kind of ties in together with the conservation and the coffee and the bird friendly stuff. But I'm into all wildlife and the outdoors, and that's what I do, in my spare time. But I love to roast coffee, and um, it's a little bit crazy right now with the times that we're in.
Mhm.
But we have a website where we sell all the coffee, and if you're local, I will personally deliver it if that's possible.
Yeah, that was so great getting it yesterday. Well, I have a couple questions, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Yep,
When I was
absolutely. You ask
looking at
away.
your website, there's a couple of things that I didn't know the exact answers to. For
Okay.
instance, what does it mean when you ethically source these coffee beans?
So it kind of ties into the bird friendly thing. I don't want to preach at you or anything like that, but honestly, your coffee's either good for the environment or it's not.
Okay.
And over 90% of the coffee in the world is not. And,
Okay.
and and what I mean by that is they clear out the land, trees, vegetation, everything, so they can grow the coffee under straight sun, which allows them to grow more coffee, basically.
Mhm.
Um, my coffee is all shade grown. The bird friendly certified coffees are the strictest standards when it comes to shade grown, organically grown. I have Rainforest Alliance certified. I have fair trade, but the ethic, ethical part of it really is how it's grown.
Okay.
And so I buy the bird friendly stuff from a supplier in New York. That's all. You can see the lineage of that and see why it would be, I would say it's ethically grown. I buy 3 Honduran coffees from an American farmer that has a farm in Honduras.
Hmm.
Those are the best coffees I have, by the way. They're not certified, but they are superb.
Ooh,
And
what are
I've
their
got
names? I'm gonna
uh,
write those down.
it's the Honduras. So if it says
Okay.
Honduras on it, there's 3 different kinds. There's washed, honey processed, and natural processed. So
Oh,
if you want me to tell you about that, I can. I don't know what your other questions are, but I'd be happy to tell you about the processing. Really, that's the drying of the coffee. Probably people don't know much about that
is
normally,
that
but
done in Honduras or is that done
yeah,
here, Jeff?
yeah,
Okay.
it's done in Honduras. So what a coffee is grown in a cherry. So they pick the cherries, and depending on how they remove that cherry and the seed inside is what's the coffee bean. So on a washed process, they run it through a depulper basically within a few hours of picking it. The honey process, they take the skin off the cherry and they let it dry with the fruit part on it. So it gets a little bit of fruitiness to it, but it gets real sticky and gooey, and that's why they call it honey processed.
Oh.
The natural process, they leave the cherry on it until it shrivels up and dries like a raisin, and that coffee is really, really fruity. And but those are the freshest and best coffees I get, and mainly because I get it directly from him. So when it hits the States, I get it within about 2 weeks normally. So that's about 6 weeks from it leaving Honduras, and normally that's at least double if you're getting really fresh coffee. It's at least double that amount of time from any other way that you get it. But I buy it directly from him. He went there on a mission trip to buy, and they bought land to put homes on for the poor. And then when they went and surveyed the land, they realized it was an abandoned coffee farm. And now he employs a lot of those people that he was going to build the houses for. You go on my website or my Facebook page, you'll probably see some photos of the stuff in Honduras.
Okay,
That's
I'll
the
make sure
actual coffee.
I'll post those links after this is done in the comment section. That way everyone can go. I know someone already mentioned that they've already liked the page and they can't wait to try some. And a couple people said that they need your coffee right now.
Well, I tell you what, if you order it right now, then I'll bring it to you today if you're in Hamilton County. So, and if you order ground coffee, I do need to let that sit for about 24 hours. If you want to contact me offline by email or something to ask me about that, I'll be happy to tell you why. But it needs to rest for about 24 hours before I grind it after I roast it. Okay. So all my coffee, I'm going to show you really quick. All my coffee is in these cans right behind me.
Oh, wow.
And it's all green. Okay. There's some bags of coffee right there. It's all green coffee. I don't have any roasted coffee in the shop right now. Okay. So that's part of what I do though, and that's how I keep it fresh. But yeah, I'd be happy to do that if somebody wants to order and they're local. That's
cool. I didn't know about the different types of coffee. I guess I didn't even know. This might sound stupid, but I didn't even know that it was like a fruit over it. I'm sure I'm not the only one that doesn't know that.
No, I don't know how many viewers we have right now, but I'd be willing to bet that well over 50% of them didn't know that before I said it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you go to the grocery store, you buy it in a little can. It's already roasted and ground for you. But I'll tell you right now, if you want to improve your coffee right now, the best thing you can do is first off, get rid of the K-cups for 75% of you out there that are using those. Second off, buy a whole bean and grind it right before you brew it.
That's what I did this morning.
Yeah, keep an eye on my Facebook and Instagram pages. I'll be doing some videos to talk about how to brew and things like that, and what you're looking at, what you want to look for.
I do have a question. One of the Facebook people said, Jeff, do you have any very light roasted coffees? They're hard to find in the U.S.
Yeah, I do. I do the Honduras natural processed in a light roast. Okay. But I have one that's called Just a Little Light. Oh. And it is a blend of two of the Hondurans, the honey and the natural. And just so you know, that's what's in here. That's what I drink.
I was going to ask you
every morning. My favorite one is the natural processed and or the Just a Little Light blend. But we've been drinking the Just a Little Light blend. It's real fruity. But yeah, I do those in a light roast.
Okay.
I don't really do, even the ones I call a medium dark are on the very edge of still being a medium roast, because there's other companies out there that everything they roast is dark, and people think it's good coffee. It's really not, but that's a whole different program.
I would have thought like I would want a dark roast.
Yeah.
Like
People. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was saying my next one, Jeff, that I'm going to get your Just a Little Light one so I can kind of compare it. I got this signature one right now. And I mean, I think it's great, but I'm probably not a huge connoisseur. Plus I add almond milk. So
it's okay. I'll put a little bit of whole heavy whipping cream, not much, just a tiny bit. Usually, actually, I go about half and half with the Just a Little Light because it'll cover up a lot of the fruit flavors that I like if I put the cream in there. But when I drink the signature blend or the Birdsong or the Canada Warbler, those are my other three. I always put a little bit of cream in there. The Birdsong I'll have back in stock next month, but that's my most popular blend. Just had a little trouble with supply issues, and I've only been in business for a little less than 8 months, so I'm still trying to
Oh.
figure out how much coffee I need to have, and that I ran out of that. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, the light roast are those two. You know, I'll be honest with you. I want all of you to hear this. A lot of you are probably thinking, "Yeah, I like the dark roast," but I'm here to tell you that the reason you think that and say that is because what you've been drinking, especially if you buy pre-ground coffee. I don't care where it's from. It's stale, even if
Mm.
you buy it from me. Okay, we live by the rules of 15s in the coffee roasting industry. Okay, 15 months for green coffee, 15 days for roasted whole bean coffee. And are you ready?
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
15 minutes for ground coffee. So what you're doing when you put your cream and your sugar in there is you're covering up the stale and the burnt flavors, because in order, the way that you make the coffee less volatile is by dark roasting it,
Okay.
because then it doesn't fluctuate. It just stays dark and stale. Okay, so
Interesting.
I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but that's the truth, and that's why most of mine are medium roast. But I'll tell you right now, I have at least five, and I'm just going off the top of my head, probably more, that told me that they liked the dark roast, but I made them or just sent them samples of medium and light roast. Five of these people or couples now drink strictly the just a little light blend. I have a couple of some of my best friends are snowbirds in Florida. I ship them 5 pounds every month of the just a little light blend. And for the
Okay.
first 6 months when I started roasting, they swore up and down all they drank was a dark roast.
Mhm.
Now they won't order anything but the light roast.
You
So
got him hooked, didn't you,
yeah,
Jeff?
give it a try. At least try a medium roast. If you buy pre-ground coffee, kind of like we talked about, use a little more of this coffee because it's fresh roasted and you don't have those stale and burnt flavors in it. So a lot of times
Okay.
you do need to use a little bit more.
I have another question here from
Yep,
a Facebook person.
sure.
She said that she is a or he or she is a dark roast fan. Are there any health benefits for light versus dark?
None that I am aware of. There's really no difference in either one. A one myth or misconception that I guarantee probably, again, I don't know how many people are out there, but probably almost all of them believe, is that a dark roast will have more caffeine than a light roast.
Hmm.
No. So when you order the just a little light, you better be ready because you're gonna feel it. If caffeine affects you, you're gonna be awake for a little while because the light roast has more caffeine than the dark roasts.
Oh,
But as far as health benefits go, I don't know of any difference in the two roasts themselves.
yeah. I wonder if one has more antioxidants. I wonder if that's what they're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard talk of that, but honestly, in roasted coffee that you've brewed, there's just not a whole lot of that really going on.
Okay.
Some of the green coffee extracts and things like that you look at, maybe you could talk about that, but really for coffee that you're brewing and if I mean, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but if you're buying coffee that some company or someone says is infused with this or that, stop buying that. You're
Okay.
wasting money and it's not doing anything for you.
Jeff is just preaching the truth here today, everyone.
Hey, it's these are the myths that are out there that they don't there's no way to, or misconceptions or however you want to call it. There's no way to overcome them unless you talk to someone like me, because it's not going to say this on the shelf at the grocery store.
True.
But when you look at the $4 Folgers or the $15 Wood Warbler coffee, I can promise you there's a reason that it's like that, and it's worth it.
You get what you pay for on most things, don't you, Jeff?
Without a doubt. And people,
Mhm.
people, and a lot of people just they think I'm just saying this because I roast coffee and want them to buy some, but there is no comparison between the $4 pre-ground coffee at the store and fresh roasted coffee that you buy from me, which we call specialty coffee. They're just not even in the same world. And a lot of times I just get people that'll brush me off and say, "Ah, it's coffee." Well, okay. I mean, but I promise you, you wouldn't say that if we had a Walmart, $4 fillet here or one from Joe's butcher shop that was just chopped last night, would you? Same
Nope.
exact thing.
Hmm.
And it's kind of when you have it pre-ground, that negates the the freshness a lot. So I do offer it ground because a lot of people need it that way, and it'll still be better than what you buy because it's roasted and ground within 24 hours.
I see another question over here, Jeff.
Yep. Mhm.
This person said that they have an issue with acidity and that
Yeah.
they drink a medium roast
Yeah.
Honduran coffee and it still bothers their stomach.
Yeah. Hmm.
Also from a maker similar to you.
Sure.
Um, any thoughts about the acidity and what people can do to get around that?
Yeah. Different regions for sure. I hate to say it, only because the supply looks like it's going to be a real issue coming up here, but the Peru that I carry is really smooth and mild and very, very low on acidity. But
Okay.
if you look for like the Peru or El Salvador, or try to stick with what we call a washed coffee, stay away from the honey and the natural process, because the more of that fruit that it has in the coffee, like I was talking about, the more the acidity is going to be in the coffee as well. Those kind
Okay.
of go hand in hand. But you know, it's tough to know because there's so many varieties of coffee out there. My Hondurans are definitely a little more acidic than my other coffees. The Colombian's probably a little bit acidic, but if you go for Peru, Nicaragua, or Colombia, or I'm sorry, El Salvador, Peru,
Mhm.
Nicaragua, El Salvador on my website, those are all low in acidity, but the Peru for sure is very, very smooth and mild. And, you know, you're not alone with acidity bothering your stomach or whatever it is that it does to you. A lot of people go through that issue, and
Mhm.
we can't always fix it, but that Peruvian definitely is worth a shot.
Nice. That's good to know. I'm glad whoever posted that. Thank you. Let's see. And then, oh, how did you come up with the name Wood Warbler? That was one of my questions.
Yep. So I mentioned that I'm into birds and birding,
You might
and
have
that I was
mentioned that, Jeff.
yeah, and that I was the president of the Audubon and all that stuff. So wood warblers are um, little colorful migratory songbirds. They're coming through right now. So if it wasn't raining out and I wasn't talking to you, I'd be out there looking for them right now. But I'll be out there the next 2 days. If you look behind me, you see on my logo right there, that is a Canada warbler.
Okay.
Oh, and you can see how that ties in with my name.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, so wood warbler, basically the warblers frequent the coffee farms. So
Oh.
these bird-friendly coffees that I'm buying and roasting come from the farms where these birds spend their winters. So right now, as they're migrating through Indiana, and there's around 30 of them that migrate through Indiana, they're coming from these coffee farms down in South and Central America and up to Canada and Michigan, and some of them will nest here in Indiana. But so that's what a warbler is. There's more than
Okay.
30, but about 30 of them come through Indiana during migration.
Okay. Well, that's cool. At first, when I was on your website, I was like, "Is this a Canadian company?" And then I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh no, it's his last name." So, in case
right.
anyone else wondered that too, not that I'm against Canadian countries and
Yeah,
or businesses, I was just confused at first, and I
yeah.
thought he's from Noblesville. That was my whole point.
I was going to name it Canada's Coffee Company, but yeah, people were already saying
Mhm.
that. Yeah, they were thinking it was a Canadian company, and I wanted it to tie in with the birds anyway.
Mhm.
So, but that's why, and yeah, that the my logo is actually transposed. It's an effect from a photo that I took. The photo's on my website. If you look at the bottom, you'll see a little collage of pictures of a couple of warblers and a Baltimore Oriole. But that came from a picture that I took. A friend of mine designed my logo.
Nice. I love all the stuff that you've mentioned, and I think that you and I talked about it, but I wanted to tell everyone listening that once all this quarantine is over, I would love Jeff to come to the office and we could do some coffee sampling and tasting and really try out all these different ones. So I'm sure that everyone's going to be excited about that. So we'll
That
set
sounds
that up
great.
soon,
Yeah, that
doesn't it?
definitely sounds great. I love doing that type of
Yeah.
thing. And as you can tell, I like to talk about the coffee and the birds.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, just so everybody knows out there, the whole mission of the business is to raise money for conservation. So I partner with nonprofit conservation organizations, and I raise money directly for these conservation organizations on my website. If you go to the website, which you see behind me, you go to the conservation partner page, and you'll see all of the partners. If you want to support one or more of those organizations, all you got to do is buy their coffee. So I do only offer one blend with the fundraising, but that's really the only option I have. I can't offer them all that way. It just doesn't work. I've tried to figure out ways to do that. But anyway, so that's what we do. And I appreciate you having me. It's been really fun.
We got one question that snuck in real quick.
Ask
They want to
away.
know, are the coffees organic?
Yes, all of the coffees are grown organically. All the bird-friendly ones are certified organic. The Hondurans are not certified organic, but he does grow them all organically. If you go to my website, you can see some information about his stuff, but they just don't have the money. It's very expensive to pay for the certification. So, and again, that's part of what ethically sourced means is organic. But yes, all of my coffees are grown organically and shade grown, which is
Awesome.
huge.
Yeah, I thought I read that on there too. Awesome. All right. Well, we'll post some links down there. We appreciate your time, Jeff. This has been very interesting. I feel like we learned a lot about coffee today, and I think a lot of us are going to change our drinking habits soon.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we just scratched the surface. So if anybody has any other questions, all my contact info is on the website. It's at the bottom of the homepage. Feel free to reach out to me by phone, text, email, whatever works for you.
Yeah,
And
and you reach out pretty
I'll
quick because I found you and you responded very quickly.
yeah.
I was going to buy some, then I was like, let's do an interview too. This is great.
Part of what I do is that, but customer service is huge to me. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I think you saw I delivered your coffee basically. I think the day you ordered it, if
The
not, I know
same
the
day,
next day.
like within hours.
And if there's a problem, I will make it right immediately, whatever way that is for you. But yeah, I mean, that's I love being able to do that. I wish I'd be able to do it forever, for the sake of the business, I hope I'm not able to do it forever because that means I'm too busy to be able to do it forever. But we'll roast it to order as long as we can do that. And but yeah, I'm very accessible and I'm happy to answer questions. I don't want you to wonder, and I don't want you to go buy the $4 coffee because you just think coffee's coffee.
Right.
So definitely reach out if you have questions.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Well, enjoy the day. I hope you get to see some of the wood warblers tomorrow or on Sunday. I hope that we
I
get
will
some weather
both
for you.
days for sure. I will definitely see them. They're here, and I'll see a few.
Awesome. Thanks again,
Hopefully that
Jeff.
Canada warbler.
All
See
right.
you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.